So the latest update for Dying Light 2 has given us a whole load of stuff, much of which we were already expecting, like New Game Plus, etc. However, there was one item on that list that really surprised me. We've finally got an FOV slider for the next gen consoles. Not for last gen though, I'm afraid, so yes, they haven't pleased everybody with this update. Now, this was one of the most asked for things, but to be honest, one of the least expected as far as I'm concerned. I thought they would never do it. However, they seem to have managed it, but does it work very well? Well, let's take a look, shall we? So I thought if I stood in this gateway here, you'd be able to see just how much the field of view is affected by switching it up. And I decided to start with a low number first, and I started at number 4. And yeah, it didn't make a great deal of difference. You can see, the field of view has widened slightly. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's too much difference there. So I tried it at number 8. And in my opinion, this is probably the most comfortable to look at. And I think, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if most people use around 8 or 9 as their max setting for it, because otherwise it's going to be way too vomit-inducing for me. However, I did decide to crank it up to 20 just to see what it looks like. And I have to say that it doesn't look as bad as it does on some PC settings. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's limitations because it's a console. It would affect the performance if they could crank it up as much as a PC. So yeah, even on max settings, it wasn't too bad. In fact, I actually quite enjoyed running around with it on max settings. And although this is on performance mode, I have to say, so it's running at 60 FPS, 1080p on the PlayStation 5. And it looks pretty decent. I couldn't see any sort of pop-in or any sort of graphical deficiencies whilst using a max setting on the FOV. But I must say that if you put it on the quality mode, it really doesn't look great. It was quite vomit-inducing. It made me feel a little bit sick purely because the frame rate was so low. And yeah, I don't know if you noticed, there was a few items that were having issues with pop-in there in that scene. So if you want to get the best out of this FOV slider on the next gen consoles, I would say that using performance mode is going to be the way to go. The frame rate's just too low on quality mode. Although on Series X you do have a balanced mode, which is something we on the PS5s don't have. So yeah, maybe it performs differently on Series X. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure it probably does, having just realised that actually. But yeah, it's going to be a similar performance, I bet, anyway. So I'm really, really impressed with this. It looks fantastic. And even on max settings, I did not feel like I needed a sick bucket. So it's all good. And yeah, you've got to take your hat off to Techland for actually doing this. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. So what do you think there? Let me know in the comments. And if you like the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.